What's going on, Freak Nation? Speed Freaks on a Sunday night, resuming with our affiliates. Coming up this hour, Freak Nation, the King, Richard Petty, will be here in the Freak Nation. Thank you guys for hanging out. Crash Gladys Pit News and Notes brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. Go to GeneralTire.com. It's GeneralTire.com. Let's check out the finest rubber for your righteous rides, man. Summer's here. I don't care where you live, man. It's hot. Get yourself some new General Tires. Go to GeneralTire.com. Crasher, give us a Pit News and Notes, will you?
All right, both the IndyCar and IMSA Sports Car Series raced for the final time around the fountain on the Island Park of Belle Isle next to Detroit, which, by the way, turned out to be a spectacular final weekend, both with weather and with action on the track. Get this, 0 yellow flags on both the IMSA race and the IndyCar race. In IMSA, Sebastian Bourdais and Renger van der Zande put together a difficult but winning formula by racing a one-stop strategy and saving fuel to make it work. It did work. They swam in the fountain afterward. In IndyCar, Will Power's tire strategy was off of the other leaders, and it was a strategy that, well, given one or maybe two more laps, probably would not have held. But Will Power went swimming, along with the entire team, his brother, and even his son dipping his feet in the fountain. Also swimming on the weekend, Linus Lundqvist, as he swept both Indy Lights races in Motown. NASCAR raced in 2 venues on the weekend. First up were the trucks in St. Louis with Corey Heim. He'll be with us in just 1 hour. He won the pole and the race, but it was anything but easy in between. Then TV went out to Portland, Oregon for the Xfinity Series, and weather issues. Gee, shocker, Portland, rain on, rain off. What looked to be Myatt Snyder's first win for his team, well, Mother Nature had to have a final say and screw everyone else on tires yet again. In the end, A.J. Allmendinger drove masterfully for the dub before flying to St. Louis for his Cup duties. Sunday's Cup debut at Gateway was stellar. And just like he tends to do with inaugural races, Joey Logano yet again capturing the flag in overtime over an angry Kyle Busch. NHRA was back in action after a 2-week hiatus. Your winners were Mike Salinas in Top Fuel, Matt Hagan in Funny Car, and what is up with his domination for this Tony Stewart team, this new team? So much for being new. And Erica Enders in Pro Stock. The Core Off-Road Racing Series kicked off their season in Wisconsin, and history was made with a little bit of Lucas Oil flair to boot. Congrats to Gray Ledbetter for becoming the first female to win a professional race in the Championship Off-Road Racing Series. For all the additional goods and glory, of course, World of Outlaws was this weekend. Loads of other winners in the Core Series. Go to racer.com and speedsport.com.
Crash Gladys Pit News and Notes brought to you by our good friends at General Tire. Freak Nation, as I said, Richard Petty, the King, coming up. Joining us next, SpeedFreaks Pits and the Lucas Oil Studios.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
General Tire was born more than 100 years ago, right here in America. We've spent the last century tackling every kind of road this country has to offer, and especially the places without roads. So you know that with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
Driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to MAVTV.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Thank you, Lucas Oil, for making this thing possible, man. Go to lucasoil.com, as we've been doing. God, 20 days from now, it'll be 22 years of doing Speed Freaks.
Daggone it.
How do you feel, Stat Man? You feel old
That
as
is
hell?
an old man word.
What?
Wow. It just hit me when you said that. I knew intellectually, I knew it was coming up, but that's less than 3 weeks away. Wow. That's world-class cool, though.
Yes. Yes.
Richie, what were you doing 22 years ago there, my residential?
I was 9 years old, so I was probably sitting on the couch watching Diamondbacks games with my parents.
Now,
At
that
9 years
makes
old.
me feel old, you know? I mean, 22 years doesn't make me feel old. I got shoes older than 22 years. But Richie tells me he was 9 when we started this thing. 1 station, 1 mic. 9.
Wow. Well, Freak Nation, 22 years ago, I can't tell you what Richard Petty was doing, but he had a chance to jump in the Freak Nation. Crasher, share with the Freak Nation why Richard Petty was hanging out at WWT Raceway this weekend.
It was pretty awesome. They had the King become the first official Cup driver. I mean, okay, fine, he's retired. He's a legend. But still, the first official Cup driver to take a lap on WWT Raceway, Worldwide Technology Raceway's asphalt. It was awesome. He took his old show car 43 on General Tires, mind you, around that track, and people were just stoked about it. He also cut the ribbon to officially kick off the Cup weekend in St. Louis. So yeah, he was arguably master of ceremonies on Friday. Everybody wanted to get a piece of the King, Richard Petty. Oh, and we were one of them.
And here he is, Freak Nation, the legend. Richard Petty joining the Freaks, Lucas Oil Studios. It's a significant day for you here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And I asked you this earlier. You don't have a big history of running in Missouri back in the day, do you?
No, we really don't. I don't know if we've even run Illinois. Just NASCAR just never came in this particular area. So that's what's making this such a big deal. Is it's a brand new opening for us for the Midwest. I mean, you figure if you look back at history and stuff, this was a jumping off place back in the 1880s or 90s when people started going west. And so NASCAR's jumping off here, hoping to get some more in the West. And we got so many fans out this way that have to drive, go a long way to see a race. They watch it on TV, listen to it. But it's one of the deals where they had the track, they had the fans, so NASCAR comes to them. It's not if you build a field, they will come. Well, they had the field already here, so we come. So here we are.
Why do you think that is? Because there's so many dirt tracks and small tracks in Missouri. Why do you think there's never been a St. Louis race?
Well, they finally got to Kansas City, I think.
Right.
But it's one of the deals that NASCAR, per se, got away from the dirt tracks, and I guess in 1971 or 72, and then they come back and start doing Bristol a couple times a year. But hopefully, They don't go back. That's too far back in history, especially with the new cars and stuff we got today.
Do you think that it's too far back in history just because of the technology? Is there a danger to it?
No.
Or is it good to have some parity?
No, it's the technology is what's changed everything. We started in 1949 with just a stock car. And we kept modifying it, and they finally ran out of things they couldn't modify anymore. So they just threw everything we had away and started in 2022 with a brand new design, brand new engine, brand new car, brand new wheels, tires. So all these boys are still learning. We just run, 12 or 14 races. So people are still learning the car, what it can do and what they can get out of it.
Are you appreciative of what that has done to the crew chiefs, to just the crews in general, to the drivers? They do have to start over, and it's been great for the fans. We've seen some good parity, but what do you think the crews are going through?
Well, some of the guys adapt. It's like everything. Some people adapt to it quicker. Some people will never adapt to it, and then some people will take a long time to adapt. And then there's a few of them that just adapted right off the bat. And you got to figure that the majority of the guys that we got running today are 19, 20 years old to 25 years old. You know what I mean? And they come through running all kinds of different tracks and, started maybe in go-karts and worked their way up, so they finally made it to the big time. So they've come along and changed as they went along. So they're ready to change. You got some of these guys that probably 40, 50 years old that's running, and they're so used to doing what they're doing, kind of hard for them to adapt.
You're saying the Kevin Harvicks of the world, maybe the Martin Truexes, Kurt Busch.
It could be.
What about COVID changed things in the sense of video games became even more important to honing your skills? Could you compete in this sort of generation with, they've got video games, they've got just all this different mindset of where they're going?
The only way to do what you're doing is do it. In other words, if you want to golf, you got to golf every day. You can't learn in a studio. Racing's the same way as far as I'm concerned. And you know what I mean? You watch it, you know where the track is and stuff. You get to the racetrack, everything is different. Everything. Surroundings are different, the cars are different, screens are different, and most of your deals that you see on the screen is flat screen. It's not 3D. So it's hard to get the depth perception. And what makes a good driver is knowing that depth, not how to turn the wheel or all that, but knowing the depth perception of what he's coming up on.
What's one of the major changes that you faced in your career that you would say, I am never going to wear a 5-point seat belt, or I'm not going to have a roll cage. That window net that I invented, I'm putting that thing back down.
You got to figure, my dad was the first one to put a roll bar in a cup car, okay? And we was one of the first ones to ever run winter nets. After I had a bad wreck in 1970 at Darlington, my arm flew out the window, so NASCAR started mandating that. So anything that improves safety, we've done some of it, but we follow suit. So you watch a wreck and see it. What can I do to make it safer for my driver? And that's what everybody does. NASCAR's been doing a real heck of a good job for that.
I would imagine with the death of Dale Earnhardt, from your perspective, the advance in safety and technology in NASCAR just skyrocketed. It went bonkers, and I bet you were just like, I'm sorry that someone had to lose their life, but the safety that came out of that death is incredible.
Well, nothing's ever going to be 100% safe, okay? And you got to look at the cars that we're running today are so much smaller than the cars that I used to drive. I mean, I used to put my hand out the window and all you could see was my hand. Even now, going down the straightaway, they see your shoulder. That's how small the cars are. So they had to improve the safety of the cars because there wasn't anything to give except the bodies and the people. So, all in all, it's just been a whole lot better.
Richard, we do a lot of work with General Tire, and I know Petty's Garage is tied in with General Tire, and the advancement of that tire in the ARCA series is incredible, what General Tire's done.
Yeah, they've done a heck of a job because, they run them a couple of dirt tracks, but they run small asphalt deals. They run Daytona, they run Talladega, so they got their tire market down pretty good. We had, I guess, got Goodyear in the Cup Series, but Goodyear can't hardly take care of the Cup Series with their race and stuff. So then it comes back down to somebody like General Tire, Continental Tire, whatever. They come in and they say, okay, we can do this. And they, again, like you said, they've done a heck of a job, and they have very few tire problems if the drivers do it right.
Before we let you go, I have to say it was so cool to see you joining Kyle and everybody on the Kyle Petty charity ride. That was a great family moment for you guys. The picture of you guys in the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah, that was a great deal. We was there, 5, 6, 7 days, 1,500 miles on the motorcycle, but we was able to stop and spend time looking at the scenery and stuff. So it was a great day, and they raised a lot of money for Victory Junction Camp, and that's what it was all about.
Richard, thanks for doing this, buddy.
Okay, man. Thank you, guys.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Well, Crasher, do you care to explain to the Freak Nation what we're talking about there? Statman Crasher had her Dale Earnhardt Jr. moment, and I forget who it was with you. Crasher, do you care to share with the Freak Nation?
So that was our second interview with the King, because the first interview we had was right after he drove on the track, and his team at the time, his PR team at the time, said, hey, just go ahead and come over into the garage area. We'll just do it there, because he had been, obviously going in 5,000 different directions. So we started doing that. Not only as soon as we started the interview did all the Cup cars start warming up, and it was impossible to hear each other. Oh, but when Kenny handed me the camera to start shooting, he'd already turned it on. I didn't realize that. So when I pressed the button, I pressed pause, not knowing. So the whole interview was on pause. We have the lead up to the interview and the end, or after the interview. I didn't record a damn thing.
There you go.
It's so ridiculous. I felt awful. I don't even know how we got him back for a second time.
Welcome to the club. Kenny's got his moment. I've got my moment. Now you got your moment. At least she didn't tell you, Crash, I thought I was working with a pro. That's what Ken Block said to me when I.
Okay, so listen. So all three of our moments of screwing up the audio video are with massive legends. You with Ken Block, who is just a worldwide beyond sensation. I don't even know what the word is to describe him. He is a legend, a living legend right now in the making. Me with Richard Petty, the King, 7-time NASCAR champion, and Kenny with arguably NASCAR's most popular driver ever, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
There it is. Freak Nation also coming up this hour, Chase Briscoe, who sat on the pole for today's WWT Raceway race. You can say St. Louis, but the track isn't in St. Louis. It's in southeastern Illinois.
So when Kenny goes up on stage, we were on the midway stage yesterday after the truck race, and says, anybody who can show me an out-of-state driver's license. And I look at him and I'm like, what's out of state? Is Illinois out of state or is Missouri out of state?
The first person to show me a Missouri license got
So that's what won? Okay.
Yeah, I got slapped across the face. And I said, my name is Statman. You can email me at statmc@speedfreaks.tv.
We did see somebody from Phoenix, though. They actually drove out from Gilbert, Arizona. That was shocking to us. I'm like, oh, okay. Way to go.
Hey, Statman Scat, I don't want to take any of the thunder from it, but it's an interesting development after the Indy 500. And I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about that after the break.
Bumped into a neck piece this week, mounted to a State of IndyCar right now. The conversation with Roger Penske was before last weekend's Indy 500. Gave a little detail on where Penske has spent money and time, where he's avoided spending both in the series he owns. But in the words of Judas Priest, Roger, you got another thing coming. That thing is the television ratings after the Indy 500. Ratings reflected the smallest Memorial Day audience ever, only better than 2020 when the pandemic pushed the race to August. It was a good race that ended with a dramatic finish, but less than 5 million viewers? That's troubling. Truly, IndyCar has another thing coming. All the efforts to save money for the teams and make the race venues interesting and comfortable, that means nothing if fans won't commit to free TV on their couch. And the Indy 500 is the cornerstone of the series promotion and marketing. IndyCar and its partners do have problems. Series needs to reconnect with its old fans or find new ones. It's only one thing if they don't buy tickets. quite another if they stay home and don't watch on free TV. Peace.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Thank you, General Tire, for making this thing possible. Freak Nation, go to GeneralTire.com. I was mentioning earlier how it's heating up, man. Summer's not here quite yet. Well, according to, no, summer's not here, but it's still hot as S. So make sure you're rolling on those snappy new General Tires. Maybe you'll get yourself one of those snappy lanyards. Go to GeneralTire.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook page, thank you guys for hanging out.
Okay, seriously? So we're at breakfast this morning, and Kenny notices a family that sits down next to us, and they've all got racing shirts on. We know they're all heading to the track as well. And as we're leaving breakfast, he taps the kid on the shoulder and says, "Hey, your parents roll on General Tires?" And the kid's like, "No." The mom goes, "Well, yeah." And then Kenny said, "Really, you do?" She goes, "No." He's like, "Well, let me show you how you can get a set of General Tires. Here, go to this link." And of course, the Speed Freaks GT link. And it was just funny because they were like,
well, the kid had a General Tires hat on.
Oh, of course. Yes. That's why you said this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right. It didn't just come out of complete randomness. He did have a hat on. That's true.
Jesus.
And Kenny was very happy to see this General Tire hat, but the family was just kind of like, can we please eat our breakfast?
The idea was if they had a Twitter account, that was there were two dudes there, a woman and a young boy. None of them had a Twitter account. And I was going to say, Stat, Crash, Suave, I would say, go register for a set of tires before we pick our winner.
You can beat the freaks. Hashtag beat the freaks.
No one had a Twitter account. And they didn't get their ass handed to them again by yours truly. What is going on, Stat, Crash? Man.
How did our winner come in last? He had Kurt and Kyle Busch, didn't he? They were 2 in the top 4.
Kevin Harvick's last ditch caution there at the end of the race cost him.
But I thought Kenny and I having Tyler Reddick would cost us more than him.
Tyler Reddick managed to get himself, I'm going to get this right, came back after spinning kind of late in the race, and during the third stage, he finished 16th.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So RCR finished 15 and 16. Wow. Okay. All right. I'll take it. Whoa. I mean, I'm sorry for you, Ryan. Feel bad. I want to give away tires. We haven't given any away in a long time.
Kevin Harvick, with his late race spin, crashed on the wall, finished only with 4 points total. So, yes, he did have 2 in the top 5. Ryan did. But only getting 4 points from Kevin Harvick cost them big time.
Well, Stat man, I don't know, man.
Did you have Logano, Kenny? How did you win again?
Yeah. Had Logano, Blaney, and Reddick, right, Suave? Yeah. There it is.
Stat, who did you have? Because
I had Larson, Chase, Chastain, and Reddick. I think I'm going to put Reddick on the shelf for a long while.
Well, maybe we are his jinx because somebody has a voodoo doll of Tyler Reddick because he just keeps having bad issues. And the talent's there. The luck is not.
They're weird things, you know, things that come out of nothing. Oh, he's running competitively, and all of a sudden he's spun into the infield, and nobody knows why. You know, it's crazy. I mean, it's the pure NASCAR crap.
It's ridiculous.
Hey, Statman, in your scat, you mentioned how the ratings for the Indy 500 weren't too stellar. After we got about 3 or 4 minutes, my apologies, we spent so much damn time talking about us kicking some ass and beat the freaks for a set of General Tires. What do you attribute that to the ratings for the Indy 500, a weekend ago, being as low? What was the point of measurement that you had for the 500?
It was the worst Memorial Day weekend. It was under 5 million views. I think 4.8, something like that. It was only better than 2020 when the race was pushed to August. It was, I don't know. I think reading that piece with Roger Penske is concentrating on a lot of things that have nothing to do with people watching the broadcast. He's concentrating on lowering the expenses for the teams and at getting better venues, improving the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's stuff that killed kart and Champ Car. He's thinking like a kart and Champ Car owner, which he was, but nobody is worried about the people at home. They're saying, well, maybe we'll get around to having a reality-based show in IndyCar. And they're not. This is my ultimate problem that we have found out. These guys have incredible personalities, and they're not demonstrating that to have some sort of connection with the fan at home. A race is a race, and a race could be boring. But the personalities, if you cheer for a personality, you're invested in what that person does. And that's not happening in IndyCar like it is in F1 or NASCAR or any of the other places that people are racing. Roger's going to have to find somebody else to think about the audience. That's the only thing that's to sell is the audience. He thinks he's selling racing. And I say that with all respect. The man's a billionaire. I'm not. The man has a business acumen of some of the best in the world. I don't, but he's not. He has to realize he's selling access to audience and not access to a race team or a race.
Last year at the Indy 500, I talked to one of our favorite PR people. You guys can probably guess who it is. and they were already not happy with how Penske was marketing the series, lack of marketing of the series. This year, it's gone even worse. And just this weekend at WWT Raceway, we talked to somebody with very, very good knowledge of the data that comes in from NTT Data, the series title sponsor, and how they could use this data if they would just open it up and use it to tease things on Twitter and on Instagram to convince people to tune in. Things like, hey, we know exactly that Alexander Rossi is closing on Scott Dixon or on Will Power by this many seconds. And basically, we know that in 2 laps, based on this data, he will catch him and pass him. Their PR department is doing none of that. I was almost cussed right there. It's absolutely ridiculous how they're not marketing this series at all. And they have so much data at their fingertips of which they could use.
Yeah, I don't know what he has planned for the future, but what was in that article, he was talking about how he's going to lower the costs for the teams and so forth. And that's got nothing to do with getting people to sit down and commit 2 or 3 hours to watching a race on television.
Yep.
They need help.
Freak Nation, be sure to follow us on Twitter, the website speedfreaks.tv, and of course, all on your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're there for you, man. Coming up, Chase Briscoe, your pole sitter for WWT Raceway.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
Driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
Dear Lucas Oil, I've used your heavy-duty oil stabilizer in my truck for years. It now has over 500,000 miles. It's not a diesel. It's never been rebuilt. Your oil stabilizer does exactly what it says it'll do. It has extended the life of my engine. Just want to say thanks. Sincerely, Josh H.
Lucas Heavy-Duty Oil Stabilizer. It works.
Time is more valuable today. There's less time to keep our vehicles looking their best. That's where Lucas Oil Slick Mist Speed Wax steps up. It's great for paint, chrome, glass, and vinyl. Lucas Oil Slick Mist simply mists on and then wipes off, leaving a new car shine every time. It's quick and easy and works on wet or dry surfaces. For a complete detail, there's also Slick Mist Interior or Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Lucas Oil, it works.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
Lucas Oil Studios, 22 years, coming up on June 25th. We've been doing this, man. It's incredible. And Lucas Oil's been a part of it the whole 22 years in some form or fashion. Thank you, Lucas Oil. Go to lucasoil.com to find the right products to keep your ride on the road. Go to lucasoil.com. Chase Briscoe sat on the pole for the inaugural NASCAR Cup race there in Illinois or St. Louis, depending on really the old Gateway. You know, it was called Gateway Track, and now it's
Gateway Raceway.
Right,
Yep.
WWT Raceway. Statman, you know a little bit about Curtis Francois, the owner of WWT Raceway, right?
A little bit. Is it Curtis Francois? I can't. The name just the black guy. Ooh.
Yeah, we'll think about
Worldwide Technology. Who owns Worldwide Technology?
Okay.
He's got the same name as a guy that used to pitch in the majors. Dave Brown, I think, is his name. Something like that. But anyway, yeah, he's the one who owns the naming rights. He may not own the track, but he owns the naming rights. Worldwide Technology.
He gave the command today, gentlemen, start your engines. Yeah.
Yeah, it was badass to see. This track was slated to be demolished and be made into some type of business delivery buildings of sorts, kind of like an Amazon delivery. I'm trying to say
a warehouse.
Warehouses.
Distribution warehouse.
There you go. Yeah.
But Curtis Francois and the gentleman with Worldwide Technology and many others put their heads together and said, man, let's save this bad boy. And it's paid off historically. They got their first Cup race. They've had Xfinity Series races there, Truck Series races there, IndyCar Series. But damn it, this is their first
NHRA Series.
Oh, right.
Drifting. They're the only track that does everything.
Yeah, and that's probably because of Chris
Pook.
No, Chris, the guy from Las Vegas that we talked to.
Chris Blair.
Yeah. The one thing that he has done is that I noticed he turned this event today, this weekend, into an event. It wasn't a motor race, and that's probably what's going to help IndyCar. The motor race is fine, but you got to have concerts. You got to have reasons for people to get engaged in what's happening. And that has to do with the NHRA. It has to do with a lot of people. They ought to study what happens with drifting, NASCAR, these places where
hold on, to be perfectly honest, I'm cutting you off for a reason. That's exactly what Chris Blair did. He's been on the road since this announcement was made in September, visiting a bunch of tracks, taking the best from here, the best from there, and putting it together. Their fan walk today was second to none. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, you've got to find some reason. One of the major things that happens in any sports promotion, it's a book that I read years ago called Sports Illusion, Sports Realities. You've got to create the illusion that it matters who wins and loses the race. And you've got to create the illusion that this is important. And if you don't do that, people aren't going to just get engaged because, hey, there's a car race.
Well, this is what we're going to do, man. We've talked our ass off. We're going to move Chase Briscoe to next hour, and I want to continue our conversation about what happened at this racetrack. Again, I brought this up in one of our discussions with, I think it might have been Curtis Francois, again, the owner of the track, how you look at the Washington Commanders. They're trying to get a new stadium built with, I think, 20 to 30,000 seats less than they have right now. What Major League Soccer stadiums have done and built 25 to 35,000 seat stadiums because it's a packed house the majority of the time. You don't oversell the place. Look at Texas Motor Speedway. There's more empty seats at Texas Motor Speedway on the back stretch and on the wings of the front stretch than there are people in the freaking stands. So what they've done with WWT Raceway is 57,000 seats. That's it. That is it, man. And Phoenix Raceway's done the same damn thing. They took out 15, 20,000 seats and now they're selling out every damn race. So you don't want to get too cocky and, we sold out 57,000, man. Let's put another 15,000. I don't think they're going to do that stat. They presented it, and their whole presentation was what you were talking about was they want to just show people how the Midwest puts on a show, not just a race, but a show, welcoming. And you had country acts, you had Nelly there, you had such a cross generation of music.
You had them on stage crossing in with each other and getting on mic together. That was spectacular. I mean, it was just it was a full event.
The audience recognizes that. NASCAR got a taste of it at the Coliseum this year, and they're doing more and more of that. But IndyCar's got to learn this, and I don't know if they will, because they're more concerned with the traditions, and they got to be careful that they don't get involved in the same headspace that Kart and Champ Car did, because how'd that work out for them?
Hey, Richie, you've been to some music festivals over the last several years, and I get that there are bands there you want to see, but when you're not watching the band that when you're not watching the bands that are up on stage, you're hanging out, you're enjoying the festival atmosphere, whether it's throwing freaking skee balls or taking hits on marijuana or getting a freaking tattoo on your face.
Which, by the way, our hotel had a cannabis convention going on this weekend. Yep. So yeah, we smelled quite a lot of that.
Blaze, as they called it. Blaze.
The Blaze convention.
Am I wrong in that, Richard?
No, you're not. And this is something that I've ran into over the last 5 or 6 years, I'd say, working in sports full time. Is I've said this for years now, which is I enjoy going to concerts, going to music festivals more than I do going to sporting events now. Because after a while, you can go to as many races as you want, as many football games as you want, as many hockey games as you want. And then at some point in time, they just become monotonous. And you're just like, I'm not entertained. I'd rather just watch it at home, because I've been to the same experience over and over and over again. And it's just nothing new. So I'd rather watch it at home and not have to pay the $50 to go see it. Whereas you go to a concert, you're usually going to experience something different every time you go. For example, I was at a concert last night. I went to go see Andy Grammer. That's my 7th time seeing Andy Grammer live. And it was still just as awesome as the first time I saw him.
Why?
Yeah. It's because it's an experience to go see live music. People are different every time. The venue is going to be different. The set list is going to be different. He's playing the same songs part of the time, but it's just an experience, and you don't get that at a lot of sporting events anymore. And there are some places that are starting to make it that way. Like I thought what Worldwide Technology did this weekend was incredible, where basically it was, you were going to a music festival. Okay. But you got the racing involved as well. And I wonder if more motorsports start to go that direction, because that's how you get me to go to races, is you give me something else to do rather than just showing up for those 200 laps or whatever, just those 2 hours to entertain myself. Or else I'll just watch it on TV, because I've been there, done that so many times before.
The TV thing, wait a minute, Crash. The TV thing, you might have just hit it there, Richie. 2 hours. Most races nowadays that come from an American perspective are 3, 4, 6 hours. And with Formula One, it's a 2-hour limit. The races have to be over in whatever the race limit is, or 2 hours. So the people know, just like in soccer, that it's going to be over eventually. And if you can't,
it's not going to be like the Coca-Cola 900.
Yeah, right. 900 Coke. You can drink 900 Cokes during the race. So you've got to be able to convince people that, hey, watch this. This is going to be important, and it's not going to drain your day to commit to watching this thing.
Unintentionally, I think the 24 hours of Daytona, and to be honest, the 24 hours of Le Mans, which is coming up, they don't purposely put a festival with it. I mean, you don't see a lot of concerts, but you do have a DJ there. You do have, like at Daytona, a Ferris wheel. You've got the beach, and the race is going to be going on. So there's a lot of people that, venture off to the beach and a couple of bars right there on the sand, and then come back to the track.
And fireworks there.
Fireworks, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a planned festival, but that's the kind of thing. That's why people like going back to those kinds of races. They're long, but they give you something to do every hour. So yeah, it's just what more and more events need to be.
Well, we've got a very close working relationship with Chris Blair, and at one time, Chris Blair was asking us to take pictures of a certain media center, of a certain drivers' meetings rooms. And he was just looking at all facets of different tracks. Took those, mushed them up, came up with the Confluence Music Festival, came up with this Fan Fest, came up with
actually real quick the fan experience and how they had people walking, whether it was the red carpet area or just the other area that had, some things on either side that fans could interact with, reminded me a lot of the Phoenix infield. I think he took some good ideas from there, which obviously we love the Phoenix infield because it is a huge fan experience.
Yeah, we've talked about this ad nauseum for 20 plus years. Imagine, taking our 8-year-old to a race that's 3.5 hours long. We just don't do it. We'll take her to an ARCA race that's an hour and a half, 2 hours long. That's max. That's it. We won't hang out all day at the NHRA for 8 hours to get to the finals. We won't do that. But we'll go to an ARCA race again. That's 2 hours. She sees Statman's favorite driver's truck over there, Kyle Busch. She's fine. She doesn't necessarily need to watch Kyle Busch for 3.5 freaking hours.
Yeah, no. Which she did say the other day. Mom, I do like Kyle Busch, but not necessarily because of him on the track. And I go, really? Yeah, well, he's with M&Ms. I'm like, okay.
She just fell off the Ohio State bandwagon in my estimation.
Well, she's learning. She's seen him lose his temper, and she's asked us a few questions about it. So
the guy finishes second today.
And then he's a puss.
And you would think that someone shot his freaking dog right in front of his son.
And he finished second of his own cause.
Yeah.
He lost control of the car, went up the track, and allowed Logano to get around him on the final lap. And he blamed everybody else but himself. Come on.
He's getting tiring. I like him. I really do. He is talented, but man, something has been going on this last year, 2 years or so. It's like he's given up. He doesn't try as hard as he used to, and his attitude is just driving me nuts.
He's selling this idea that he wants to be the villain. He wants to wear the black hat, and people will get tired of that real soon.
You can't fake it, though. If you want to be the villain, but don't pretend like you're the villain. Don't try to be an actor if you can't act.
I know it's a different day and age, a different age specifically, but at least Dale Earnhardt Sr., the boos equaled the cheers.
Yeah.
It is not that way with Kyle Busch.
Yeah. That's true. He was full on booze today. I don't think there was a single cheer. Maybe one kid in a yellow M&M shirt.
Well, and Logano's got that too. He's just for some of his ass hattery on the track, but nothing.
But then again, that's a more genuine ass hattery. To be perfectly honest, he's not trying to be a villain. He just kind of is at times. So yeah, he's not manufacturing villainism like Kyle's trying to do.
Villainism. I love it. Crash, you're wonderful. Villainism.
Hashtag that. Just saying.
Man, in that last 3 minutes, we had ass hattery and villainism. Wow, you writing this down, Richie?
It's a full dictionary.
When you guys get to year 40 of doing this, I can't wait to read the book. Terrific.
Villainism.
That's awesome. Richie, when you head to Dutch Bros tomorrow, try and use those two words in your order, okay?
Oh, that's genius. I got to try that.
Right?
Record it, make a reel.
Yeah, use your name. Say, my name is Villainism. And can I have a couple of vials of ass hattery in my chai latte?
What in the world?
What?
Yeah, that's what you can put it. Have them write it on the cup.
Yeah.
To say villainism.
Oh boy, Freak Nation! I think you can tell a lot of us are on Eastern time tonight.
Very tired.
We spent the weekend in a pot hotel.
We did. We walked in, and right away I knew something was up because was this Friday night? Yeah. The valet at the hotel said, I'm sorry, we've got a convention going on. Just want to warn you before you walk in. I'm like, what's he talking about? We walk in, and the whole place is dark. And this is a very old hotel.
Union Station.
Union
in St.
Station.
Louis.
Yeah, it's cool looking, to be honest. But so we walk into this massive ballroom, which then you got to go upstairs to get to the check-in desk. Anyway, there was a convention going on in that ballroom. All the lights were off, and these green pot leaves were just going up the ceiling. It was awesome. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Smoke them if you got them.
That's how we roll, man. All right, Freak Nation, a big second hour. And something that, in Crasher, do not give away anything. I don't want any reaction, please. Something that happened outside this hotel this morning, we'll get to.
Oh, yes.
See there?
Sorry.
There it is. We will get to. And we'll get to that Chase Briscoe, your pole sitter for today's Cup race in St. Louis, Illinois. Louise. St. Okay. Yeah, man. More freaks coming up. Speed Freaks Pits and Luke's Oil Studios.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. Network, broadcasting from the Lucas Oil Studios. Driven by General Tire. It's Speed Freaks. Motorsports Radio redefined with Kenny Sargent, Crash Gladys, and Statman. Here's the Freaks.
Second hour of the Freaks. Thank you guys for hanging out. Chase Briscoe, your pole sitter for this afternoon's NASCAR Cup race, will be here in the Freak Nation. Also coming up, let's do Christian Craig. Grabbing himself a fifth overall in the outdoor motocross race yesterday in at Hangtown.
I believe he was third overall in the season opener and fifth this weekend.
Right.
So, yeah, pretty good way to start the season.
So, yeah, man, a big second hour Freak Nation. But I was talking about this last hour where something happened this morning where we walked out of our hotel getting our car head to the track, and all of a sudden I say, there he is, that little sumbitch. AJ Allmendinger, who's staying in our hotel. What that guy did in the Xfinity Series race.
Wait, he stayed at our hotel for maybe 4 hours?
Well, a little bit longer.
Maybe six.
Anyway.
6.
So what he did, he crashed 2 or 3 times. He did everything possible to lose that race in Portland for the Xfinity Series, but didn't. He hung around and hung around. And surprising to several people, AJ Allmendinger won himself a race in Portland, then hopped on a plane and flew into St. Louis late Saturday night. Said he got to the hotel a little bit after midnight. He's that man. He says he doesn't even remember what his rental car was. He was standing outside saying, "Is this my rental car?"
Yeah, he's asking each of the valets, "Wait, is that my car? I think it's a Chevy. I don't know. It was dark when I turned it in."
Can you imagine these guys travel everywhere, stay at a different hotel almost every night and every weekend? And, they airports, cars, hotels, I mean, how do they know where they are?
They don't.
I mean, their mind is on racing. And, plus most of the cars look alike anyway when you get into them. So, hey.
And think about this. AJ Allmendinger goes out and wins in Portland on a road course. Ben Rhodes qualifies his car and wrecks his car, his Cup car. AJ Allmendinger has never run on this track.
Gateway, St. Louis.
Never. And goes out there and is sitting in the top 10 most of the day.
He really had it. That is the Hard Charger Award winner of the weekend. If we were still doing, if we were still doing Bulls Balls, I arguably would award him the Bulls Balls winner of the weekend. Can we do Bulls Balls again? That was really cool.
I'm sure we can.
You need to get in touch with those guys.
Yeah, bullsballs.com.
Yeah.
Right?
Our Bulls Balls winner of the week.
Regardless, look, man, we're not stupid. We get it. Ovals are much different than road courses, and we can sit there and pick on drivers that run nothing but ovals. But when you have 25 guys that are within half a second of each other, being able to cut certain lines, especially at this track, this was more like Phoenix meets Martinsville. And these guys had never – say what you will about dudes on ovals, man. It's a fine line to where you can have 25, 30 guys that are within a second of each other, or if that.
Okay. AJ Allmendinger was impressive today, taking a previously crashed car and running in the top 10 most of the day. Zane Smith subbing for Chris Buescher, who was in COVID protocol, and getting that car way up to the front as well. That's impressive. Never ever driving one of these.
Zane Smith was subbing for Keselowski. At least that's what they said on the TV.
No, he was subbing for
Keselowski's team.
It's Keselowski's
RFK's team, but it was Chris Buescher himself. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Freak Nation, we got a new affiliate. I want to say thank you guys for being a part of this thing. Larry Stone, who's part of Nashville Zone 104.7 Sports Radio WLIV. Thank you guys for bringing in the Freak Nation.
Just in time. Yeah, exactly. Las Vegas. Just in time for the Cup race and the IndyCar race in Nashville this summer. Bam.
Cookeville, Nashville, Tennessee, man. Thank you, Larry Stone, for making this thing possible for us to.
Good ribs in Nashville.
No, men's fighting words.
Yeah, those I was going to say. When's Kenny going to chime in on that one?
Fighting words.
Ooh, doggy.
No, Statman's had his share of ribs. Long, big legs.
Yeah, they got some of them.
All right, Freak Nation, we're going to bring in some more affiliates here in the Freak Nation. Then get in some Crash Gladys pit news and notes, and Chase Briscoe coming up.
Speed Freaks, we promise to suck less. Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
The Freaks.
Crash Gladys pit news and notes kicks off a round of affiliates here in the Freak Nation. Speed Freaks on a Sunday night. General Tire brings you Crash Gladys pit news and notes. Go to GeneralTire.com. That's GeneralTire.com to find the tire for your righteous ride. An F-250, a big old fat minivan when you're hauling ass across the country this summer. Kids in tow. Make sure you're rolling on a new set of General Tires. Go to GeneralTire.com. Crashimus?
Speaking of minivans, Kenny, you loved your minivan over the Indy 500 weekend.
God, I love minivans, man.
Nah, I still don't understand that, but that's okay. That's A-okay.
Yep.
All right, speaking of IndyCar, both the IndyCar and IMSA Sports Car Series raced for the final time around the fountain on the Island Park, known as Belle Isle, right next to Detroit. And this was a great weekend, both with weather and with action on the track. Get this, zero caution flags in both the IMSA race and the IndyCar race. That's unheard of. The action was still good, too. In IMSA, Sebastian Bourdais and Renger van der Zande put together a strategy of one pit stop. So they had to save fuel, a lot of it, to make it work, and it did. So they swam in the fountain afterwards. Really cool pictures on Racer.com, by the way. In IndyCar, Will Power's tire strategy was off the other leaders, and arguably, if there would have been one or two more laps in the race, that strategy would not have held. He was the only one on softs at the end. Hard tires have won in the end for the last many years. But it was, this time, Will Power going swimming, along with the entire team, his brother, who flew in as a surprise from Australia for the 500, and even his little son dipped his feet in the fountain. Also swimming on the weekend, Linus Lundqvist, as he swept both Indy Lights races in Motown. NASCAR raced in two venues on the weekend. First up with the trucks in St. Louis with Corey Heim. He'll be on with us. Oh, gosh, is he coming up next? He won the pole and the race. It was anything but easy, though, in between. Then TV went to Portland, Oregon, where weather issues were crazy, rain on, rain off. And it looked to be Myatt Snyder's first win for Jordan Anderson Racing, but then Mother Nature had to have another say. In the end, AJ Allmendinger, he drove masterfully, even through some crashes, for the win before flying to St. Louis for his Cup duties. Sunday's Cup debut at Gateway was stellar. We've been talking about it. Just like he tends to do with other inaugural races, Joey Logano captured the flag in overtime to win over an angry Kyle Busch. NHRA back in action after 2 weeks. Your winners, Mike Salinas in Top Fuel, Matt Hagan in Funny Car, Erica Enders in Pro Stock. And the Core Off-Road Racing Series kicked off in Wisconsin. History made by Gray Ledbetter.
Motorsports Radio, redefined. Speed Freaks.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
General Tire was born more than 100 years ago, right here in America. We've spent the last century tackling every kind of road this country has to offer, and especially the places without roads. So you know that with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
Driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium.
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
We wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high-performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined.
All right, Freak Nation. As promised, we will get to this Chase Briscoe interview. We talked our butt off about 30 minutes ago where we were going to run it. But Crash and I caught up with Chase Briscoe, your pole sitter for today's NASCAR Cup race. Again, he runs for Stewart-Haas Racing. Great dude, man. The story of Chase Briscoe is incredible, where he grew up as a fan of Tony Stewart and then finally gets a freaking call saying, hey, man, you want to come run for me? Hell yes. And he certainly made a name for himself this year in the Cup Series. Chase Briscoe here in the Freak Nation.
Center for the 2022 debut at WWTR. Chase Briscoe joining us here in the Freak Nation. I don't really want to talk about the poll. I've got custard. I forgot. I've got custard sitting right in front of you. Everything. What the hell are you going to try and get some of that custard down there?
I'm good on that one. I'll pass on that. If you had Cole in here, he might be all over it, but I'm good.
Hey, we had Richard Petty in here yesterday, and the history of Missouri and dirt tracks and small, short tracks is legendary.
Yeah.
What the hell took us so long to get us a race here in St. Louis, which is more or less your home track?
Yeah. Outside of Indianapolis, it's for sure my home track. It's this is a great area for motorsports. You have so many good short tracks, dirt tracks in southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Missouri, there's just a ton of good race tracks. There's just a lot of racing, whether it's late models, modified, sprint cars, midgets. You kind of have everything in Illinois and Missouri. So yeah, there's a lot of really passionate race fans in this area. I remember 2017 coming here in the trucks, and it was almost sold out for a truck series race. So they just love their racing in this area, and it's cool to finally be able to bring the Cup cars here, because it is something I feel like has been needed for a while. This area is just so passionate about racing, so it's cool to be here.
You run with a dude that owns a whole lot of crap, meaning Tony Stewart. He owns series, and I can only imagine Tony's take on why in the hell haven't we been in St. Louis before. Does that come to mind with you, like, we need to shake and rattle the trees to get more action out here?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely if this weekend goes well, I think the biggest thing is just the racetrack, right? Like, it's hard to put on a Cup race. Like, there's just a lot of people, the infrastructure, everything else, and I think you have to prove that the racetrack is capable of even putting on a good race, and they've done that with the Truck Series, time and time again. So I think now that they've gotten the opportunity, I think this track will be on the schedule for a long time. But yeah, I think it definitely was a long-awaited place to come run. But like I said, now it's on the schedule. I think it'll be on it for a really long time.
You mentioned earlier that you think this is a track that will have a lot of attrition. Is that because of inexperience here, lack of data here, or just the layout of the track?
I think a little bit of both, but the biggest thing is just the layout. It's so tight in 1 and 2, and then really long in 3 and 4. You have these super long straightaways too to really draft, especially in these cars. So yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, you just have the restarts here in the truck series. We were 4 and 5 wide a lot of the time, you know, and it's kind of hard to pass here the first 10, 15 laps of a run. So, you know, you got to get aggressive on those restarts. And, you know, you add in that we're downshifting from 5th gear all the way down to 3rd gear and one end and back to 4th, the other end. There's just a lot of opportunities, truthfully, for you to make a mistake. And, you know, the braking is honestly up there with road course braking as far as how much pressure we're putting. So, yeah, it's going to be a long race. Even though it's a short race, there's just a lot of opportunities to make a mistake when you're shifting that much and on the edge as much as you are in these next-gen cars.
When you talk about restarts, who is someone non-teammate, who is someone you look around and be like, oh, thank goodness I'm with them?
Yeah, that's tough. You know, I feel like all of us at times are way aggressive over our head. But, yeah, I feel like Larson's one that, you know, he just races so much. You know that he's not normally going to put it anywhere that he's not going to get into you. You know, like you can trust Kyle pretty well. So, yeah, I would say whenever I'm around Larson, you're excited too because that means you're normally up front. He's always up front. So, yeah, if you see Larson with you on a restart, you normally know you're in good shape and you have a fast car. And like I said, you can trust him. He just races so much. He knows exactly where everything's at.
Isn't it cool, though, that, okay, what you just said about Kyle Larson, hey, you know, if you're around him, you know you're up front. People are saying that about you. People are saying that about Tyler Reddick. It's cool to hear that, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been a nice change after last year. It was just a struggle all year long. And, you know, even this year there was some points there where we kind of struggled. And it's nice to run up front consistently. It's way more fun anytime you're running up front. So, yeah, definitely nice to, you know, be starting up front tomorrow. And hopefully we can keep it up there. But, yeah, it's definitely cool to be one of those guys that's battling for wins week in and week out. And hopefully we can continue to do that.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe and aggressive Bristol. It just doesn't seem to come to mind, does it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely can be aggressive, but I mean that's what you're paid to do, right? Like you're paid to try to pass cars and try to win races, and you know, in the moment, sometimes those decisions don't look good whenever you look back on them, but in the moment, you're so caught up in the race, and you know, like Bristol, you know, you're running as hard as you possibly can just to get there, and you catch him the last lap going in the last corner. It's like, if you just were going to ride around in second, I wouldn't even try to catch him. But you do all that work to get there, and you try to throw it in there, and obviously it doesn't work out. But, yeah, it's definitely hard when you're caught up in the race. You know, that perspective is a lot different. I know when I go watch sprint car races or anything, I've won a lot of races in the grandstands watching, you know, why didn't this guy do that or why didn't he do this? And, you know, your perspective is just so much greater out there. And when you're in the race car, you can definitely get tunnel vision. And I've not done the greatest job of trying to open that perspective this year for sure.
Hold on, though. Name one driver who is absolutely perfect. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, definitely none of them. I mean, we all lose way more than we win. We all have the worst record, even the best race car driver in the world. So, yeah, I don't think any of us are perfect by any means. But, yeah, normally the guy that's the most perfect that day or makes the least mistakes is up there at the end. And that's where I think tomorrow, just if you can minimize your mistakes, it'll be a really good day for you.
You talk about the aggression, and you're in a similar situation as Tyler, where you were knocking on the door from last year. Okay, but you were knocking on the door for that first win, and Tyler's right there, man. Really from a driver's perspective, how do you look at that? We're fans of Tyler, needless to say, but how do you look at that? Like, this dude needs a win or deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, the thing is, if you keep putting yourself in that position, like, it's all going to go together. And Tyler just had a lot of unfortunate circumstances, whether it's, you know, stuff breaking, like last week at Charlotte, I think he blew left rear and he was in the hunt, and you know, Bristol obviously with me, so he keeps putting himself in that position. He's going to eventually win. So yeah, I think when Tyler does win, it's going to be a floodgate. I mean, once you win, that confidence that comes along with it, and you know, it's hard whenever you're battling for wins and things don't go your way. It's easy to get caught up in that. But Tyler is an incredible race car driver, and I really think once he wins one, he's going to go on.
Did your first win get rid of all the doubt that you had in your head? You talk about that.
Yeah, I think so, a little bit. I mean, anytime you move up into a new series, you know, you always question, are you really capable of doing this? And, you know, especially with how our first year went, you get humbled really, really quickly. And, yeah, I think for sure once you win one, it's nice. But, I mean, a lot of people have won once. You got to win multiple times. Then I feel like you get a little more sense of confidence and just stability. So, yeah, I think for us, or for me at least, you know, running up front more consistently has helped my confidence. You know, winning one race would be great, but you gotta keep running up front and keep putting yourself in that position to show that you deserve to be here. So, yeah, I feel like we've done a lot better job this year, and hopefully we can continue to.
How old is your kid?
8 months. Yeah, 8 months, 2 days ago.
Dang.
Yeah, time is flying.
Track,
yeah.
Right?
And I think we talked about this when we had you on recently. Might have been Hinder or something was the announcement. But,
yes.
how Tony says if and when him and Leah have a baby, he's not going to cut the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
And you cut your kids.
I cut it, yeah. I don't know why he's so freaked out about it. It's not that bad. Yeah, it's really, yeah. I don't know. He wouldn't even hold my kid. I tried. He was not about it.
The same thing happened to us at Texas Motor Speedway with our daughter 8 years ago. He goes, I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
He held the little car seat, and that's all he would do.
Yeah, he was like, if I touch him, he might break. So he's like, I don't want any part of it.
That's why we want him to be a dad so much. He's like,
I can't imagine. Yeah. Be interesting for sure.
Chase, good luck, man. It's always fantastic when you're rolling here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And
boom.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Bumped into a neck piece this week, mounted to a state of IndyCar right now. The conversation with Roger Penske was before last weekend's Indy 500. Gave a little detail on where Penske has spent money and time, and where he's avoided spending both in the series he owns. But in the words of Judas Priest, Roger, you've got another thing coming. That thing is the television ratings after the Indy 500. Ratings reflected the smallest Memorial Day audience ever, only better than 2020 when the pandemic pushed the race to August. It was a good race that ended with a dramatic finish, but less than 5 million viewers? That's troubling. Truly, IndyCar has another thing coming. All the efforts to save money for the teams and make the race venues interesting and comfortable, that means nothing if fans won't commit to free TV on their couch. And the Indy 500 is the cornerstone of the series promotion and marketing. IndyCar and its partners do have problems. Series needs to reconnect with its old fans or find new ones. It's only one thing if they don't buy tickets, quite another if they stay home and don't watch on free TV. Peace.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined. You're listening to Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio Redefined.
Lucas Oil Studios, Freak Nation. The Lucas Oil Studios. We do a lot of work with Lucas Oil, and the companies that they've gotten involved with, the teams they've gotten involved with. Statman, if we would have said to each other when Lucas first came on board, I think it was like the spring of 2001, that they would be on the side of a freaking NFL football stadium. Yeah, think about that one, Statman.
You know, I could remember every time I think about this, I could remember having Forrest on one of our shows at Lake Elsinore for an off-road race. And he was talking about how much better it was for his brand to be in a series instead of on the side of an individual car. And that's when he started to grow the brand into series like the sportsman drag racing and, you know, the off-road racing and the closed course off-road stadium racing. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if he was on the stadium yet by then. I know he got involved with the stadium when they were building it, not before they even finished it, to put his name on the side. I mean, the man is, you know, he's brilliant. That's why he's Forrest Lucas. And I'm the stat man. You won't find the stat man's name on any stadium, that's for sure.
Well, you know, we could talk about the Cleveland Browns. Oh my gosh, man!
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Anybody's hiring quarterbacks that has 23 lawsuits against them. You know, like, well, maybe I could find another team to root for.
It's just. Was another lawsuit was filed this weekend or on Friday?
Was it? I don't know. Did I say I don't know. Whatever it is, it's more than one. And you know, I mean, he's got no answer for any of it, and it's not going away anytime soon. So how am I going to cheer for somebody like that? You know.
Well, and the clown he's got representing him, Rusty Hardin, who got Richie or Crash? Rusty Hardin represented somebody where he made his name. He's just another goofball from freaking Texas. He's repping Deshaun Watson, talking about something to the effect of all happy endings aren't a bad thing, or just
what?
Something stupid. Yeah, man. It's like, oh God.
Oh man. Well,
yeah.
You know, hey, I couldn't cheer for Baker Mayfield for a whole nother list of reasons, but when they hired this guy, it's like, what am I supposed to do? My team is not my team, and I've been watching these guys for longer than Richie has been alive. So it's, you know, I can't bring myself. This is like the camel breaker, the line in the sand. I can't do it.
Rusty Hardin's clients have included NASCAR driver Kurt Busch, who was accused of domestic abuse against his former girlfriend, Roger Clemens. We have, of course, Deshaun Watson, Michael Bennett, Calvin Murphy, Rafer Alston, Rudy Tomjanovich.
Damn.
A bunch.
Yeah. Stat man, let me see if I can find an exact quote. Again, we're digging a rabbit hole here, Freak Nation. But he mentioned something. During a Raider interview, the dude representing Deshaun Watson.
A Raider interview?
Radio interview, sorry. Talked about Rusty Hardin contends that with the sexual activity during the massage, that happy endings aren't always a bad thing. It's like, my gosh.
That's the man you want speaking for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't put that in Law and Order, for crying out loud. How are they going to have that in a real thing?
Well, here's the exact quote. I don't know how many men are out there now that have had a massage that perhaps occasionally there was a happy ending. Then 2 days later he says, "Oh, it's just a hypothetical." It's like, what?
Oh,
yeah. Well, we got the president saying, worse than that, and he's sat in the Oval Office.
Anyway, Freak Nation, what I originally wanted to talk about, now that again, we've been digging rabbit holes for the first 22 years of our life.
And that's the subtext of the show, the Freak Nation and a rabbit hole.
Yeah. There's a battle going on with Formula One, and it's in regards to the TV rights. According to Business Insider, according to ESPN, it's going up against NBC Universal, Amazon, and Netflix to take over Formula One coverage starting in 2023. Disney's reportedly involved, currently paying $5 million per year to air Formula One races in the United States,
which is pennies. $5 million a year for Formula One, one of the biggest sports properties in the world, and getting so much more popular in the U.S.
They put in a $70 million bid, and it looks like Liberty Media Statman's now seeking $100 million.
It would be pure. People would deserve to walk out of the meeting if Liberty Media screws this up. ESPN took the risk to run the races with no commercials, and they built an audience along with, helped by this series reality show on Netflix, and they built an audience for them. And so now everybody's standing in line to make a bid for the audience that ESPN built. And if they snatch it away from ESPN after they took that risk, I'd be real disappointed. I'd be extremely disappointed, especially if it ended up with an American network that will go nameless. I don't know if we should, but every
NBC?
6 minutes, every 6 minutes they have a 4-minute commercial. I mean, it's insane the number of commercials, and Fox, for crying out loud, when they first started showing, maybe it was NBC, as a matter of fact, when they were showing NASCAR races. I remember one Sunday cutting between the football game and the NASCAR race.
Oh, that would be NBC then.
And it took 6 times before I was able to switch over and see some racing. Every time I switched over from the football game, it was a commercial. 6 straight times. So if ESPN builds an audience and Liberty Media takes that audience and tries to go somewhere else with it, I'd be willing to sue. I'd be real upset about that.
Okay, but arguably, was $5 million really a risk? And arguably, did ESPN really build this audience when most of the audience, you could say, have come because of the the reality series Drive to Survive?
Certainly that helped. Maybe that even built the audience. But what kept the audience was seeing a race with no commercials.
There you go.
And if that was definitely a risk of $5 million, even though they didn't send anybody to the race. They didn't even send anybody to Charlotte to voice the race. They just plugged into Eurosport and played that. And that's good enough for me. I just want to see the race without going to commercial every 6 minutes for 4 minutes at a time. So that's why people tested the water and liked it and stayed.
Just to give you an idea of the numbers we're dealing with here, according to the Associated Press, Fox and NBC combined paid $8.2 billion for the NASCAR TV rights contract that started in 2015 and is going to run through 2024.
Yeah,
so you can do the math there. It was just I don't exactly know. I'm terrible at math, but just
$8 million a year.
$8 billion.
Oh, $8 billion for the multiple years. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
$8.2 billion across 10 years.
About the same as a good quarterback or a good left-handed pitcher.
Okay, here you go, Stat.
Okay, so that's on par then with what Formula One Liberty Media is asking. All right.
Yeah, they're not going to get billions. If they get $100 million a year for 5 years, they should.
That's $500 million.
Yeah, but that's $500 million is not 8. And then like Richie, even if he's bad at math, could understand that.
How much time do we have? Man, we eat time. God, where does the time go?
Conversations.
Statman has made it known that the ARCA Series winners that we've had on over the last 4 years are some of the best interviews we've had, just because there's no pretense there. And so many other items that I don't have time to mention. Corey Heim has worked his way up through the ARCA Series and has been coming in here many, many times. And what this dude, he's running part-time with Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Truck Series. Got a hell of a truck underneath him. What does this guy do? He goes out and grabs the pole on a racetrack where the trucks have run, by the way, at WWT Raceway. He grabs the pole and goes out and wins the damn race. And as you'll see with this interview coming up after the break, he's just one of the nicest cats around. Corey Heim, your NASCAR Truck Series pole sitter and winner, joins us next here in the Speed Freaks pits and the big old fat Lucas Oil Studio.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.
Hey, Freak Nation, whether you're looking for a tire that balances high performance responsiveness and traction in wet and light snow conditions, excellent handling and traction in off-road situations, or a summer performance tire designed with the driving enthusiast in mind, General Tire has you covered. From the G-Max RS to the Grabber ATX, no matter what you drive, General Tire will get you where you're going. Learn more at GeneralTire.com. General Tire, supporting the Freak Nation for 2 decades.
Lucas Oil, it works.
I run Lucas Oil.
It doesn't matter if you're on the water,
Driving to work,
or competing in a sold-out stadium,
Lucas Oil products will help you get the most out of your vehicle.
Monster Jam has run Lucas Oil in and on our trucks for over 10 years.
we wouldn't run anything else.
Lucas Oil, the official oil of Monster Jam.
Hey, Freak Nation, did you hear? With the addition of MAV TV Plus to the MAV TV Motorsports Network, they've got their full live event broadcast schedule, a total of 226 live race broadcasts featuring the ARCA Menard Series, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, Pro Pulling League, American Sprint Car Series, Pro Motocross, and the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. MAV TV, the only television network dedicated to motorsports. Go to mavtv.com to get your motorsports fix 24/7, 365.
Dear Lucas Oil, I've used your heavy-duty oil stabilizer in my truck for years. It now has over 500,000 miles. It's not a diesel. It's never been rebuilt. Your oil stabilizer does exactly what it says it'll do. It has extended the life of my engine. Just want to say thanks. Sincerely, Josh H.
Lucas Heavy-Duty Oil Stabilizer. It works.
Time is more valuable today. There's less time to keep our vehicles looking their best. That's where Lucas Oil Slick Mist Speed Wax steps up. It's great for paint, chrome, glass, and vinyl. Lucas Oil Slick Mist simply mists on and then wipes off, leaving a new car shine every time. It's quick and easy and works on wet or dry surfaces. For a complete detail, there's also Slick Mist Interior or Slick Mist Tire and Trim Shine. Lucas Oil, it works.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas fuel treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system, pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas fuel treatment. It works.
Mark my words, 8:40 Pacific, 11:40 Eastern Time on Sunday night, January 5th, that Corey Heim is going to go on to even bigger and better things than what he's done already, winning numerous ARCA Series races, winning NASCAR Truck Series races, grabbing poles, which he did both this weekend in St. Louis. Just a nice guy, has no pretense about him. Statman pointed it out several years ago, and you can go ahead and elaborate a little bit, Statman, how we didn't believe it, how these ARCA Series drivers with these interviews, man, these guys in these feeder series were a little bit more compelling than some of these top NASCAR Cup Series drivers.
Without question. They say they're not getting media training, but these kids are smart and they give intelligent interviews. And they're showing personality, and I hope it doesn't go away.
Well, Corey Heim, we caught up with him. Again, your pole sitter for the NASCAR Truck Series race and your winner from the NASCAR Truck Series race at WWT Raceway. It's Corey Heim now in the Freak Nation Lucas Oil Studios. Pole sitter for the NASCAR Truck Series here at WWT Raceway. Corey Heim, who's been in the Freak Nation many times. Corey, I'm just getting so freaking confused what series you're running in. Next thing you know, you're going to be running a freaking IMSA car, and I got to put that on your resume. Do you get confused about who to thank and what series you're running in from time to time?
Yeah, sometimes. I've been there before for sure, but Accomplish Motorsports this week has done a great job for me. This 51 JBL Tundra Charity Pro Group has done a phenomenal job the last 3 weeks, really, that I've run. We've run second in qualifying the last 2 weeks, I believe, and then we finally clicked off the pole right there. So, I say finally, this is my sixth start this year, but they've just done an awesome job throughout the year.
You guys had a little bit of practice before your pole run there. Did you know you had the car, or did you have to make adjustments after that practice round?
I feel like we've always got the truck. I feel like we've always got, the speed every single week. And, like I mentioned, we qualified second the last 2 weeks. So I knew the speed would be there. But funny enough, after I was done qualifying, I told my guys, I think I was 20th to qualify, so there's still 19 more after me. And I told my guys, I don't really know if that was a great lap. I feel like the last 2 weeks I ran pretty much perfect. And then this week I'm like, I don't know about that one. So funny enough, we got the pole. I was pretty surprised by that, honestly. The truck just must have a lot of speed.
Are you okay with how things have gone over the last couple of years in which you don't get much practice at any of these tracks? Are you a person that can adapt pretty easily because of that?
Yeah, there's goods and bads to that for sure. I feel like the goods are throughout the week, my team is able to prepare on sim as other teams may not be able to. We have a lot of resources at the shop and at the TRD Center in Salisbury, North Carolina that really allow us to kind of get an upper leg on people. But at the same time, I don't have a lot of experience at these racetracks. So luckily I've been here before, which I feel like definitely factored into the success today. But, for example, Texas, Atlanta, places like that have been a little bit rough on that side where I've just never really seen the racetrack and it's been tough to adapt. So really just kind of differs in and out on a weekly basis.
And then what has clicked for you? Because you did reference the momentum that you're on right now, 2 seconds, now a first, you're a pole qualifier. What changed? What led to this momentum, if anything in particular?
I really feel like just seat time in general is really big for me. Okay. This is I feel like 11th start total in the Truck Series. And, with every start, I feel like I get a little bit better. So hopefully that, progress keeps on coming and I can continue getting better.
You mentioned you've run here before. Did that pay off in your qualifying run?
100%, and just unloading in practice and having a pretty good idea of what the track's going to be like. And I also tested actually 2 weeks ago. I got a rookie test here at Gateway, so I feel like that really gave me an upper leg on the field a little bit right there. So that helped me a lot. But for the most part, I feel like just that entire racing experience kind of giving me an idea on where the track's going to move around, where the grip level is, and just overall just giving me seat time, like I mentioned.
What are the advantages, like the Craftons of the world, and I think the Benedetto's running the full-time series, the guys who are running trucks full-time series, what advantages does that give them outside of the obvious? Because you come out here and get the freaking pole. I mean, is it all about Accomplish Motorsports and that truck?
Yeah, I believe that's most of it for sure. I mean, we've had speed every single week, like I touched on earlier. But I feel like just my preparation during the week, as far as doing research and really just going online and just doing all I can to know every single aspect of the racetrack before I get there is definitely huge with the amount of practice we get. 20 minutes is definitely tough on the team to be able to just make the truck perfect. You know what I mean? I think we got 15 laps today, and luckily we unloaded pretty much right where we needed to be. But if you come to the racetrack and you're off a little bit, that's not good. You're gonna have to throw the kitchen sink at it to make it perfect. So like you mentioned, the Craftons and the Dibendettos just have all that seat time. So I feel like that really helps them more on the racing side of things. Rather than just the pure speed. I mean, you're only able to go as fast as your truck is capable of, and my Tundra TD Pro has been super fast this year. So luckily I've been able to take advantage of that. But once the green flag drops, it's a whole different world out there, and I feel like that's where they really know how to race.
I'm still laughing because you are just rolling through. We talked at the top of this interview about how sometimes could sponsors be confusing going from series to series, but you're just rolling with it. It just goes right off your tongue like you're a 10, 20-year pro.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it just comes with a lot of practice, I guess.
Well, as does driving, like you were saying, seat time.
That's right.
Richard Petty was standing in front of the same banner that you are, and he was talking about how, frankly, sim racing for him doesn't think it would do him any good. But again, I'm not going to argue with the king, but it seems to be doing quite a bit of good for you guys who don't get the practice at these tracks.
Absolutely. It plays a lot for the drivers as far as just getting, kind of like I mentioned, just as far as going online and looking at research. I mean, then you get the aspect of just actually, being hands-on and actually driving the truck, even if it's not real life, it at least gives you a better idea, right? So, and half of it's that, and half of it's really just letting the team make adjustments and also just building up that communication aspect of it. Whereas, if I was just to talk to them at the shop, it's one thing, but if I can actually go out and make practice laps on a simulator and really communicate with them as if I'm actually practicing, I can get a better idea of how to give feedback and how they can communicate with me in the whole 9 yards.
Well, yeah, we see drivers, it's more typical, I think, for road courses than it is for ovals. They walk the track, and that's where they find the bumps or the whatever they find that's going to help them or hurt them. So, yeah, you're doing that essentially on sim. It's got to help.
100%, yeah. Week in and out, I mean, I'm on there, I think, anywhere between 3.5 to 7 hours, just running laps all by myself, just trying to get used to the racetrack. And normally when there's 4 corners and you're on an oval, it's not terribly hard to get used to that. So that's kind of the other aspect of racing for me. I feel like I've been able to go out and have a lot of speed on a weekly basis, but racing is still something that I'm, improving on the daily, just being able to kind of find my groove and find a good pace and be able to run 150, 200, whatever it may be, laps throughout a race.
Yeah, because then there's the endurance factor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what do you do to get ready for that? Are you a weightlifter? Are you a runner? Are you anything?
A little bit of everything, really. Yeah. We have a Toyota Performance Center back in Cornelius, North Carolina.
Right.
And we go there every and so another 20 or so drivers that are involved with the Toyota Racing Development Program. So every day I go there and work out, and I really just make it a habit to just stay hydrated and really just keep my nutrition up too. I got a really strict diet that I feel like is really benefiting me on race days, but I'm still trying to shut off a little bit of this weight, but we're getting there.
Who's the biggest slacker when it comes to working out?
I can't say names. Sometimes me, really. I go in waves, like where sometimes I'm super motivated. I'm just hustling right through it, and I have great workouts. And sometimes it's just tough. I feel like racing is definitely like a mentally tough sport. And I'm always super occupied, super busy. So sometimes going into the gym and hustling for an hour is pretty tough. But I try my best.
Freak Nation, Corey Heim here in the Freak Nation once again. Your pole sitter for the NASCAR Truck Series. Dude, thanks for doing this, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Come on, Stat Man. I mean, that guy. What can you say about a dude? He's running part-time trucks. He's winning in trucks. He won in the ARCA series, and he's just a pro.
And he handled the interview. How many people in 22 years we've talked to people who have been behind the wheel of any kind of race car for so many years, and they don't even know how to answer the question. I mean, this is a kid who, like you said, is winning, going fast, stepping up in class, and has got an answer, and he's engaging, and he's going to get fans and more fans as he grows because he is likable.
And he freaking wins. How about that? What a concept.
What a concept. He's a good kid, good driver, knows how to win. Came out of the Billy Venturini stable.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a good kid.
I mean, Crasher, you've seen enough of him to realize that this cat's got the chops to do what he needs to do to win races.
Oh, without question. Without question. I'm excited to see him go further through the ranks and see what he really can do. First of all, what team he will end up with when it comes to Xfinity and hopefully Cup, because that makes a difference as well. But yeah, then to see what he can do with his own chops.
Yeah, see, and I hope he doesn't get pushed by Toyota too quickly and ends up running mid-pack in Cup. And, he was so good. What happened? I mean, if he gets pushed too quickly, if he sticks in trucks for a while, wins some there, knows how to win. We don't have time to go into my long song and dance about what a driver needs to do. So, I mean, he's a good kid. I hope he's got good social media skills to go along with his good personality. We could be saying Corey Haim for a long time.
All right. Need to bring his music in here. It's a Sunday night. Crasher's face. Richie's face. Crasher's face. It's been a long god dang week and a half.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah.
Year.
I mean, Triple F got me some good, not much motorsports, but I don't have all of my facilities with me that I need to get into that.
Oh, the Not Much Motorsports sounder and the background music. Oh, so this is what you've chosen.
Yeah, that's what I've chosen.
What is this, by the way?
This is, again, we talked about this last hour, how I spent a good 5-6 minutes with Dale Earnhardt Jr. 16 years ago.
And the interview never came out.
Yeah. Statman, the same with Shavglick. Who was it?
Ken Block.
Ken Block. One of the biggest names in the world.
I know it, but doesn't mean I'm going to remember his name, Crash.
I can tell you a great story about Shavglick.
No.
About it in Irwindale parking lot. What a great man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shav was the man.
You know, it's Richard Petty, the greatest stock car driver ever. All right. Here we are about to interview him, and Crasher's.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Crasher's got the camera. All right, Crasher, you got this? Yeah, no problem. Got this. Richard Petty hanging out by his car, number 43. Eric Jones about to go out and get some practice laps in there.
Can you hear me now?
So again,
that's what you're pulling up.
Yeah, there's Richard Petty's legs.
No. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's the King's legs right there, man. If you're watching this on YouTube.
Why would you hand me the camera with it already running? Just saying.
We've had the Queen's birthday all weekend, and now we got the King's leg.
So yes, basically, for people that did not hear this first hour, we got an interview with the King, with Richard Petty, in the media center, and that it all ended up just fine.
Yeah.
But this is how it started. Our first attempt was just blown out of the water because not only did they want us to do it in the garages right as the cars fired up, and that's fine. That still would have worked okay. But then when Kenny handed me the camera, unbeknownst to me, it had already started recording. And so by the time I positioned it right and pressed the button to record it, basically what that did was pause it. I paused the actual recording because it was already started.
Well, we were out
We
were out on the grid, and it was getting kind of loud out there. The trucks were lighting up to get a little practice. So let's go in the garage where all the Cup cars are lighting up, as you can hear here. Yeah. And Richard Petty has his hearing aids in, and he's talking. He says, I may not be able to hear you. So I'm screaming at the guy, but it was never recorded, man. So here it is. The King, how's it going, man? About to record the interview. And again, if you're just listening to this on one of the many affiliates, just imagine you got one of the greatest drivers ever in all of motorsports.
Oh, yeah.
And right now we're looking at his boots.
There is no to everything.
That's how loud it was, all right?
The loud garage.
I'll get real close to you.
And there's Kenny's
I'll
hand.
get real close to you. And what's even better is the freaking... Look at the camera sideways, Crash. What the hell were you doing?
I was just waiting for you guys to get set. Again, I had no idea you had already started it. And so I'm waiting for you guys to get set. And then once you're set, I'm going to pull the camera up and then press the button.
Here it is. All right, ready? I got Rich King. How's it going, babe?
I know, right?
All right. Yeah, how's it going? You see my crotch there. Watch this. Okay.
That's great.
All right. That's it.
All right. And I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah,
that's where I press.
Yeah, here you go.
And Crash enters the Freak Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, what's right after that?
All right. That's it.
No. And then the next part is when the interview's done.
Yeah.
And then it's, thanks, King.
How's it going, Richard? All right.
Oh, that's just lovely.
This is why you guys need me around.
Right.
Yes.
Millennial to set things straight.
And then we can even fast forward to today. Kenny wants to do a grid walk, and we get the mics, the lavaliers set up, and then they start basically setting up over each other.
It's TMI. It's TMI.
It is TMI, but it's just funny because Richie's right. That's why we need him there, because clearly we have so much going on that we screw things up.
All right. What's that, Richie?
We got to get Richie in the Hall of Fame too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Show's pretty much over. I'll save my story for later.
No.
Yeah.
We have 3 minutes.
No, we do not.
We have like 45 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Less
there
than that,
you go.
actually.
Yeah. Whoa. I'm going to be on Pacific time here this time tomorrow night. I'm going to love that.
You're going to be in bed.
All right, Freak Nation. Thank you guys for making this thing possible. Lucas Oil, man. Bam. Shoot the juice to the moose and it's Adamus Maximus.
Got it.
Yeah.
Speed Freaks, Motorsports Radio, redefined.